Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here for our second season in MotoGP, and here we are for, I think it's the 7th round of the season now at Catalonia. Let me just check that quickly. Yes, it is the 7th round of the season. I know I got it right, but I wasn't 100% sure on that. Obviously there should be no notifications on either of the teams because this race is straight after the Mugello ones. If we have a look at the championship standings then, obviously a lot of change after another weird event happening in this season. We can't seem to get a single race as normal, and this time it was a glitch, which is probably slightly more annoying because if the riders just crash and things like that, that's fine, that just happens in the game, that happens in real life as well, these things happen. But this time there was a glitch, so Dovizioso, Marquez and Espargaro were all put, I think, about 2 minutes behind. I don't know if Quartararo also was, I don't think he is. But that basically completely changed the face of the championship. It allowed Rins to move back up to second, Rossi back up to third, and that gives us a 75-point lead now. Marquez and Dovi and obviously Paul Espargaro losing massive points, and they're nearly 80 points behind. Obviously Marquez is 80 points behind, Dovi's nearly 80 points behind. I've got a 71-point lead already, so it's kind of ruined the season in a way. It also had a big impact on the Constructors' Championship because Honda and Ducati didn't really score very well. Yamaha actually benefited quite a bit from it because their riders were sat just behind that group, so they all gained quite a big boost. That's why Rossi's moved up quite a bit in the championship. I don't think Ducati actually fared too badly from it. I think Miller still didn't do... I don't think Miller did too bad once they got moved, but even still they should have got 20 and I don't think they did. But in the team's championship then, Mishimoto Ducati actually did benefit from it compared to the Repsol Honda team, but compared to the Monster Energy Yamaha team they definitely lost out because those three are all pretty close. Petronas actually only a few points further back because Rossi obviously benefiting quite greatly from it. Both of the Repsol Hondas obviously included in that glitch, so that's why the Ducati team have made inroads on them because it was only Dovizioso that was affected from their team. But that's just a quick rundown of what happened. I usually go on a little bit too long with the championship rundown, but this time I think we've probably done a decent length, so no notifications or anything like that then. So without any further ado, we'll head into Catalonia and I'll see you in qualifying 1. So here we are then in Catalonia for qualifying 1 here then. So quite an interesting qualifying 1 then. Obviously we've got Franco Morbidelli and Valentino Rossi, so both the Petronas bikes then in this session. Both the LCRs as well with Nakagami and Alex Marquez. Both the Tech 3 KTMs with Petrucci and Lecuona. Both the Aprilias with Crutchlow and Espargaro. Both the Pramacs, so Bagnaia and Martin, and both of the Avintias with Zarco and Rabat. So just lots of teammates in this session. And I think that really just goes to show how much of an impact in this game anyway the bike has on the performance of the rider. A lot of the riders have very similar performance, but their bikes just are what make the difference. So then obviously it's Catalonia, so a soft tyre on the rear is an absolute no-go. Medium compound rear. We were pretty competitive here last year actually on the KTM, so we should be able to storm away on the Suzuki. So we'll head out onto the track then, just hopefully can do one lap and get straight through into qualifying 2. So as we start this lap then, down towards the first corner. The bike actually feels like it's pulling to the left slightly, but there shouldn't be any damage. I've not crashed. I mean, I literally only did about 2 corners. We go into the first corner. We've gone in so wide into turn 1. So that lap's messed up already, I would say. So that's definitely the first lap down the drain. Although apparently we're still fastest through the first sector, which makes absolutely no sense. It should be invalid because we took a big chunk out of the corner. But of course, we lost time from it. It's not like it was an advantage. So as we brake then for turn 4. It's a little bit early for that one, so not quite getting the braking zones down. I don't think I played the game yesterday at all. Actually, I did because I recorded the video, so I'm not really sure what I'm on about, but I haven't played on the Suzuki for a few days. I need to try and adjust back to it. Obviously, the Grand Prix Suzuki is well different to the career mode version, but I've not played with the career mode version for a while, so we're 2 tenths off in this sector, so that's a bit more like it with that big mistake at the first corner, of course. Through turn 8, then flicking the bike over up the hill towards turn 9. The front end feeling quite bad so far. It's felt pretty good at most of the circuits, but this one it doesn't feel too great. If you go down towards turn 10 then you can make massive time up here on the AI. Obviously we did that last year, it's pretty good effect. Only 1.6 tenths away now, so not quite the 2 tenths that we were before. Through turn 11 then flicking the bike over through 12. We've run a little bit wide. You have to try and cut back for a late apex, picking up the apex there. Through 12. Down towards this penultimate corner, Europe car. And then down towards the Catalonia corner, which is the final turn. Turning it in, 14 turn Catalonia. Out of the Catalonia corner then, coming towards the line. The AI are pretty good in the last sector, so we definitely won't be on provisional pole or, provisionally going through 4th place so far, so we need to go for another lap. So we come through the last corner then. We've actually got 3 red sectors now. We didn't before. It was actually not even a personal best in the first sector, personal best and then a session best, but this time it's only third as we go over the line. So Martin, obviously his time was slower in the first 3 sectors than mine, but faster in the 4th sector. So we'll head back to the pits now then and put some more fuel in the bike. So here we go then, starting the second run. I'm on a hard tyre this time just to see if we get any better feeling from the rear. Up towards the line then, is this time going to be good enough to go through into qualifying 2? Oh, 92 thousandths quicker than what Martin did. But I tell you what, the AI have got some good pace here. Coming up towards the line, we've got to make sure we don't run out of fuel as we go up towards it. 38.6 then, so, not 38.6, sorry, 38.8. 2 tenths quicker, nearly 3 tenths. We're actually out of fuel now. So we'll head back to the pits and hopefully that's good enough to get us through. So in the end then, it was good enough for us to go through ahead of Jorge Martin. So this will be the first time he's gone into qualifying 2 this season. He's done a pretty good job there then. Franco Morbidelli just ahead of Valentino Rossi then in 3rd and 4th places. So not a great outing there for the 2 Petronas Yamaha boys. 5th place then for Bang Nair, 6th for Aleix Espargaro, 7th for Takaki Nakagami, 8th and for Cal Crutchlow, 9th for Iker Lecuona, 10th for Tito Rabat, 11th for Danilo Petrucci, 12th then for Jean Zarco and 13th for Alex Marquez. Once again, picking up that familiar back of the grid slot. So we're heading into qualifying 2 now, and hopefully we can try and repeat the performance of being quite fast, but I don't think we're going to get on pole here. The AI are electric. So then here we are then in qualifying 2, putting on a new soft front. We've got one more hard rear that we can use in qualifying. I might have to go back to the other one if I run out of grip on this one. So we'll head out onto the track then early on, and hopefully we can try and do a decent lap straight away with this setup. Just thought I'd clarify by setup I meant the tyres. I'm using a stock setup, but I realised it kind of sounded different to that when I said it. But we're starting our first run then here in qualifying 2. So coming towards the line then, at the end of this first lap, what's it going to be? 39.2, so almost 2 tenths away from Dovizioso, and that's down in 4th. This grid is close. Coming towards the line then, what's it going to be? Is it going to be enough to go top? Yes it is, 38.7. So actually a bit quicker than we did in qualifying 1, 3 tenths, nearly 4 tenths ahead of Dovizioso there. So we'll head back to the pits and we'll see if that's good enough at the end of the session. So then, as you can see by the gap, it was just enough for pole position at the end. 5 thousandths quicker than Marc Marquez there in 2nd position. Jack Miller ending up in 3rd, so a little bit more on form. Nice to see that from Jack. 4th place then for Pol Espargaro. 5th for Andrea Dovizioso. 6th then for Fabio Quartararo. 7th for Maverick Vinales. 8th for the other 2 Suzukis, Alex Rins and Joao Mir in 9th there. And 10th for Brad Binder. 11th for Miguel Oliveira. And 12th obviously for then Jorge Martin. A good half a second off the next nearest guy. But yeah, they seem to be lining up like teammates here. So again, that kind of proves my point that the bike performance definitely controls the rider performance a lot more than the riders do themselves. Obviously, there is a checkerboard pattern with the Hondas and the Ducatis, but they are actually quite close in terms of performance. So then, time to head into Moto3, and let's see how my 2 riders get on at Catalonia. So then, down here on the grid, then Daisy Jackson in 16th and Manuel Hernandez in 12th place on the grid. So I don't know if any of the upgrades came in for the bike. I don't think it had yet, had it? So it just seems to be doing a little bit better, but hopefully there won't be much more of a wait until there is some upgrades coming on the bike. I think there might have been a perk, though, that has increased their performance a little bit, but it's nice to see them quite high up the order. So let's get this race started, and hopefully they can both go forward from their starting positions. So then we're watching Daisy Jackson currently, but we'll swap to Manuel Hernandez since he's the lead rider in this race. Lights on, away we go. Antonelli off to a decent start, same with McPhee, but same with Hernandez. Hernandez up to 10th place already, 9th place. Obviously he got his first top 10 of the season in the last race, down to 8th position. So Hernandez is having an absolute stormer as they go down towards this right-hander. He's in 9th place, now he's back down to 10th again on the brakes. Right the outside goes Jackson though, so Jackson has got even better start. So Jackson up into 9th place. Looks like Arbolino's kind of been forced a little bit into Mino. Around the outside goes Daisy Jackson, up the inside goes Hernandez. Is Jackson going to pull it off, or is it going to be Hernandez? I think they're still pretty close together. Arbolino looking behind him. I don't know why you'd be doing that on a first lap, but here's Jackson round the outside, still on the outside of Hernandez. Hernandez up the inside off Fenati, can't quite pull it off. Lopez looks like he's trying to go on the outside, same with Agora as well on the outside of Hernandez there, but Hernandez has sort of kept it on the inside. So 10th place then for Jackson currently, 11th for Hernandez, so they're pretty close to each other on track actually. And around the outside is like Ralph Hernandez. Ralph Hernandez going around the outside of Hernandez. The similar named guys next to each other once again. And here's Jackson looking for a move. She can't quite get past either Fenati or Mino. It looks like Hernandez has been shuffled a little bit back through the group now, so a little bit unfortunate. He had such a good start. He's down to 13th position, but obviously this kind of thing happened to him last time and he definitely regrouped himself. So around the outside goes Jackson then of Mino up into 9th, but I think Mino's going to actually hold it on the inside through here. No, she's still hanging it around the outside. Mino's now back around the outside. Ralph Hernandez looking around the outside as well. Is Jackson going to pull it off? Yes, she's up into 9th place then now. Towards the end of the first lap. So she's had another fantastic start, another rocket start from 16th on the grid up to 9th. That's 7 places in 1 lap. That's a fantastic start to her race here at Catalonia. Hopefully she can keep this forward momentum this time. And here she is, sort of in the slipstream then. A little bit of Arbolino, but Arbolino also pulled to the right a little bit as well. See in the background, looks like Hernandez is going for a move. Is Jackson going for a move on Arbolino into the first corner? Not quite. So if we look back then, Hernandez in 14th looking for a move on Iagora, but he was unable to pull it off there. He's now got Albert Arenas behind him. Here comes Jackson though. Jackson on the inside of Arbolino. Arbolino looks like he's struggling a little bit on the outside. Side by side, they both go. 2 Hondas side by side down towards turn 4. Is she going to shove it up the inside? Not quite. So for now, Arbolino stays ahead. So Hernandez looks like he's actually got in front of Iagora while I wasn't watching, so that's a bit of a shame that we've missed that. But Iagora looked like he's going back at him into Catalonia corner. Iagora back up the inside. Is he going to pull it off? No. Around the outside then for Hernandez. And keep an eye on in the front of the shot then Daisy Jackson. Is she going to close up to Tony Arbolino in front? Obviously she's been following him for about a lap now. Hernandez still in front of Agora then, so it looks like Lopez will be the next target for Hernandez. And Jackson actually looking behind her, so hopefully she's not suffering too much with the tyres. They look okay for now. She's got another good run. This is where she tried to have an attack on Arbolino on the previous lap. No, she's not quite close enough, so I don't think she'll be able to dive up the inside into turn 4 either. Antonelli's fastest lap's only just come up, so a little bit delayed there. Oh, someone's down. It's Messia. Messia's down. I think I didn't see him crash, but I've just seen him on the floor there. So Jackson now up into 8th place, and that obviously promotes Hernandez up into 12th. I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on because not much was happening. And I've just seen Messia's body down at the side of the track. So Yama Messia then has actually crashed out of this race. Well, I don't know if he's fully out, but he's definitely out of contention for a decent result with only a 5-lap race. And they're already about to complete the 3rd lap then. And that's massive for the championship because Antonelli, his championship rival, is actually leading and there was only a few points between them. So this is going to be a massive shake-up. But here comes Jackson. Meanwhile, is she going to finally have a move onto Arbolino into the first corner? Can she do it up the inside? Not quite. Will she be close enough for an attack through turn 3 into 4? I'm not too sure, but if she carries her speed through pretty well, she might have a shot. Nah, she wasn't close enough again. So still behind Tony Arbolino, but it looks like Hernandez is close enough to the back of Lopez again. Also, Jackson's now in front of Mino, so I was watching Hernandez to see if he was going to get past Lopez, and now Jackson is in front of Mino. So another position then gained for Jackson. Quite what's happened there to Mino, because she was actually behind Arbolino, but now she's right in front of Mino, so that's nice to see that she's gaining some more position. Mino's back on the inside into Catalonia corner, though. Is he going to pull it off? Not quite, so Jackson just stays ahead. You can see Agora's actually goes right back up to the back of Hernandez, and now Suzuki's down. Wait, oh, Antonelli's gone. Antonelli's gone, actually, I think. That might be what it is. Antonelli's now gone out of the lead. I'm getting really confused with what's going on in this race. There's been a few riders crash, I think. We'll have to see who it is. But Daisy Jackson then up into 7th place. I'm not sure if she was actually in front of Mino already or what. But now Ralph Hernandez has dropped down the order, and Manuel Hernandez is now up into the top 10 as well. So Hernandez gaining some positions as he gets past Fernandez. Lopez must have got past him as well. So we're missing all the good overtakes here. I'm watching the wrong ride at the wrong time. There, look. Mino trying to get back up the inside of Daisy Jackson, but not quite been able to do it. Can Jackson hang on for this 7th position? This would be a great result for the team. 10th and 7th place. Be better if we could get 9th as well, if Hernandez could get past Lopez, because he was closing up onto him. And he's had some good late race pace in some of these races so far, that's for sure. Up the hill towards this right-hander. And again, Mino's looking for another move on Daisy Jackson. Out of turn 9, then down towards the tricky turn 10. Side by side they go. I can't believe that both the championship rivals have crashed out of this race, but Jackson's just kind of been mugged off there by Mino. Mino straight round the outside. But 8th place is better than nothing, Daisy. It's better to bring home that 8th place than to risk crashing trying to pass Mino, but she never gives up, does she? So she'll probably have another go at him. As we come towards the penultimate turn then. Through the penultimate turn, down towards the final turn. Through Catalonia corner then. It's going to be 8th place here for Daisy Jackson. It looks like it's going to be 10th place then for Manuel Hernandez if he could just hang on ahead of Iagora. It looks like he can. So then Daisy Jackson coming over the line, 8th place, and Manuel Hernandez in 10th. Yes, then, so just checking, Nicolo Antonelli and Yama Masia both crashing out of the race there. So 2 free positions for our riders, and that's what's promoted them up into 8th place and 10th places. Obviously, they both got past. Well, I think Jackson did get in front of Mino, but Mino managed to get back in front. I could be wrong, Mino might have been behind her the whole time, but all of a sudden I saw that she was up in position and Mino's right behind her rather than her being right behind Arbolino, so yeah, I wasn't 100% sure what had happened with that one by then, but Tatsuki Suzuki takes the victory then ahead of Romano Fenati actually in 2nd position, Celestino Vietti in 3rd place then, obviously like we said 8th and 10th for my team. Unfortunately, John McPhee actually got a really good result there, 4th position, so I don't think we'll be gaining on the Petronas team. And yes, I did say this would be massive for the Riders' Championship. Tatsuki Suzuki actually takes the lead, even though the runaway leaders have been Antonelli and Masia so far, but they've both crashed in this race. So Tatsuki Suzuki actually moves up into the lead of the championship. Daisy Jackson stays in 11th place, but Manuel Hernandez moves ahead of Gabriel Rodrigo into 12th place, and by some margin as well, 6 points ahead of him. So my riders then currently sat in 11th and 12th in the championship. In the team standings then, we're pretty close to Petronas Sprinter Races still actually, only 5 points behind them, and we're a good decent way ahead of the Red Bull KTM IO team behind us. So definitely trying to focus on the Petronas team in the future. But we've met the team objective today, really good job for both the riders, our first double top 10 finish, so it seemed like they qualified pretty well to be honest, and yeah, I'm glad that they've both converted that into even better race results than where they qualified. So then, time to see if I can do the same thing. Well, I can't do any better than the way I've qualified, but can I convert it to another victory? Let's find out. So then, we're down here on the grid then in MotoGP. And an interesting front row really. Nice to see Jack Miller back near the sharp end, obviously with that new number 43 that he's got this year. And obviously, I've put it in the mod as well for the game. Cal Crutchlow then, we finally get a first look at him on the Aprilia near the back of the grid. I don't think we've seen him on the grid at all yet. But there he is then in 18th position on that Aprilia. And here we are on pole position once again then. So I've gone for a soft front, hard rear. I almost went for a medium front, but I wasn't 100% sure on how that would feel. The front tyre wear shouldn't be too bad, and the rear should be okay. The hard rear should be able to last around here. It's quite strange. The medium still gets really, really hot, but the hard is pretty decent. It will start to wear at the end. We'll definitely have some troubles at the end. We'll have to save, but if we can get a big enough lead early on, it shouldn't matter too much. Obviously, last year we got so close to winning the race. Just ran out of laps, really. We passed Marquez on the final lap. Dovizioso just hung on. So obviously Dovizioso happy stomping ground here, and that'll be why he's qualified quite well. Well, it's, you know, not particularly well, actually. He did better at Mugello, but he's qualified up there. Obviously Miller as well, so the Ducati obviously must go well here. Marquez did pretty well here last year as well, so the Honda obviously going well, so I'd explain why they're all up there. So let's get this race started then. I want to try and bring home another victory.
Just a few moments to go and the Catalan Grand Prix will officially begin. Riders are getting focused because they know that they will have to give 100% from the very beginning.
Yes, we will have to give 100% with Marc Marquez starting alongside us. He'll want to gain back some points after the glitch in the previous episode. So down touch control 2, up to power mode 2, lights out, and away we go here at Catalonia. We've actually not had a great start. Marquez has got the jump off of us, off the line. So has Miller. Miller's had a really good start. We go down towards the first corner. Miller might be challenging for the lead as we get there. So braking nice and early then, because I don't want to hit Marquez at the back. Of course, Miller's gone for the lead. Pol Espargaro's actually forced me a little bit wide. There's a Yamaha behind me. I've kind of just forced Quattararo a little bit wide. Alex Rins behind us crashed, so that is a shame then for Alex Rins. But Jack Miller was really going for that lead there. Pol Espargaro kind of forced me a little bit wide. I kind of had a little bit of contact with Fabio Quattararo. He's now behind his teammate Vinales. Vinales up to 6th position off the line. Be interested to see how the two Petronas boys fare in this race. Dovizioso's already got past Espargaro, and he's looking for a way past his teammate Miller because he wants to go after Marquez. Here we go then down towards turn 5, around the outside and up the inside of Pol Espargaro through turn 5, then up into 4th position again. We've got a really good run side by side with Dovizioso. This is where we went for a really aggressive move on Valentino Rossi last year. A little bit of contact with Dovi on the way into that corner, clipping that curb. Dovi round the outside, have slid on that curb, and Dovizioso keeps the position for now. But obviously turn 10, we should be able to get him here if we stay close enough. Pol Espargaro almost hitting us in the middle of that corner then. Carried a lot of speed through into turn 9. Here we go into 10, around the outside of Dovizioso. I've actually gone in a little bit hop, skipping and jumping on the way in there. So that's going to allow Dovi back through, but we've got the cutback. Here we go, side by side with Dovi. So we're now up into 3rd place once again, but Dovizioso might still have the inside through turn 12. The AI are fantastic to this sector, of course. But we're up in the top 3 for now, into the penultimate turn. So once again, it's not been a great start, losing the lead, but that's pretty standard to be honest, especially since we've got no upgrades on the anti-wheelie or anything like that, or the Power Mode 2. So the AI should get better starts. 46.8 then on that first lap, 7/10 behind Jack Miller. Let's see if we can hunt him down. Here we go then down towards turn 10. We've closed right up to Miller, and here we got the inside of him. Again, we've probably overshot a little bit. Miller's actually hit us at the back there, but I've sort of gone off the circuit. I'm going to let Miller have that place back because, well, we had a little bit of contact. Not really sure what that was all about. I sort of got fully in front of him, and then he hit me up the back. But Marquez trying to clear off here then. So still behind Jack Miller. Obviously, we had a good battle with him back in Qatar where I had to stick behind him for quite a while, but here we go towards Catalonia. Corner of the rear, steps out there as I kind of braked on the curb a little bit, trying to carry the speed through the last corner then, trying to get the slipstream on Miller. Here we go, down the straight, Marquez 39.5, 39.9 for me, so Marquez a little bit quicker. As we go down the straight then towards the first corner, going to outbrake Miller by, wow, quite a way. That was quite an easy outbraking manoeuvre, so up into second position now then. So Marc Marquez is the next rider for me to go hunt down. Only 1.6 seconds, so not the end of the world. It's not a massive gap to reel in. I think it was actually a bigger gap than me and Valentino Rossi had to reel in together last season. So it's a shame to see Rossi not quite having the same form he did at this circuit in the last season. So at the end of the first lap off chasing Marquez, then 38.4 to me, 39.4 for Marquez. So we go a whole second quicker than him. So we're reeling him in at a rate of knots here. Already 2 seconds back to Jack Miller here then. So here we go, then down towards turn 10, we're close right up to Marquez, and we're going for the outside. We're actually going to get that stop down to the apex. Not far off, I almost lost the front there. We've actually done it, yes, we've actually passed him from that far back on the way into the brakes. We outbraked him by that much, so I've gone in hot and actually still managed to, well, be in front of him, even though I ran a little bit wide. So we've hit the front then here, just before half race distance. Obviously an 8-lap race, we've almost completed 4 laps. We're on the 4th lap here, we're about to complete it. So just before halfway through this race, we've taken the lead back. So Marquez has done a good job, but I feel like shaking him is not going to be so easy. You can really hold on to your coattails once you get past him. So another 38.4 on that lap, 4/10 clear off Mark so far. So I want to try and put a bit more time into him. So as we come towards the line then to start the penultimate lap of the race, what's the time this time? 38.8, so my pace has dropped a little bit, but 2 seconds in front of Marquez. Hopefully we should be able to take it to the flag fairly easily now. Coming up towards the line then to start the final lap of this race. What's the time this time? 38.5, so we've actually upped the pace by quite a bit once again. We're going to watch out for the fuel because this track really burns a lot. 2.7 seconds, we really just got to bring it on home safely now. Through the last corner then, coming up towards the line, it's going to be yet another dominant victory here in this season. We really are running away with this championship on this Suzuki. So it looks like there's been no glitch or anything like that putting the riders ages behind, and it also looks like the glitch where the AI riders do ridiculous lap times on the last lap hasn't happened either, although Jack Miller has done a 38.5, which I'm sure he didn't actually do in the race. So luckily everybody finished then in this race. I'd like to see what happened with Alex Rins, of course, at the beginning. But Alex Rins is actually our closest championship rival currently, and he's just not scored any points. So that's a big gain in the championship, although I think Marc Marquez finishing second and Dovizioso fourth might jump ahead of him. Nice to see Jack Miller back on the podium then, he's back on form. 5th place then ends up Pol Espargaro, 6th for Fabio Quartararo, 7th for Jean-Mir, 8th for Maverick Vinales, 9th for Jorge Martin, that is a good performance from Martin, and 10th then for Morbidelli, and 11th for Rossi. That's where the Petronas Yamaha's got to. So yes then, like I said, obviously Marquez and Dovizioso jumping ahead of Alex Rins in the championship because they got better results. Same with Valentino Rossi as well, but he lost the 2 positions back to Marquez and Dovizioso, so he actually moves down 1 as a whole, but he did actually move ahead of Alex Rins. Jack Miller moves back ahead of Maverick Vinales then. But our championship lead is now 86 points ahead of Marc Marquez. That's an absolutely ridiculous margin after only 7 races. In the team's championship then, we've got 250 points. That's a nice round number of points to have, that's for sure. Mission winner Ducati stay just ahead then of Repsol Honda, 3 points in it there. Monster Energy Yamaha a little bit further behind as well now then, so 25 points actually behind the Mission winner Ducati team, 22 behind the Repsol Honda team. The Petronas Yamaha team actually only 11 points back of the Monster Energy Yamaha team, so the Yamahas being pretty consistent with each other. Pramac moves ahead of LCR Honda Castrol as well in that race after a good result from Martin. And in the Constructors' Championship then, we extend our lead to 58 points, obviously with Marquez finishing second once again, and obviously Dovizioso then in third. So we'll have a look at that crash with Alex Rins. I want to see who that involved and what actually happened, and then we'll head into the career hub and we'll see what we gain from this weekend in terms of reputation, credits and acclaim and things like that. It's not actually called acclaim in this game, is it? It's prestige, that's what it's called. I was getting mixed up with F1 My Team career mode then for a minute. So this is on board then with Alex Rins through turn 1. They flick it over through to turn 2, and oh, he just gets clipped there by Pecco Bagnaia. Just one of those unfortunate crashes where they just come together at that flip-flop corner. It happens quite a bit. It happens quite a lot online, that's for sure. If we slow it down, then he's run a little bit wide. Same with myself, Vinales, and Mir. So actually all the Suzuki's running a little bit wide. He's obviously trying to flick it back over again, but he's not quite got the turning. He just misses Martin there, and he kind of just comes straight onto Bagnaia's line. Bagnaia could have sat the bike up a little bit more to avoid, but perhaps he was just trying to risk it around the outside. And unfortunately, that is Rins down, but luckily not out of the race, but I don't think he scored any points, unfortunately. So it's on board from Bagnaia then. What happened with him? And yeah, just quite a big hit, actually. I think that got in the way of Valentino Rossi as well a little bit. Yeah, so Bagnaia not really helping out his boss Valentino very much there. But in slow-mo then, you can see Rins sort of coming across the track. It's just one of those corners where you kind of have to. I think he was sitting up a little bit to avoid Morbidelli. And yeah, he just kind of rides into the path of Bagnaia. But at the same time, Bagnaia could have definitely sat the bike up more. Bit of racing incident, I wouldn't place blame on anyone. It's first, second corner, so there's bound to be some sort of collision at some point there. So then we gained 19,700 reputation points from this weekend, gained 13,200 from the race and 6,500 from qualifying, which takes us up to 610,300 reputation points, so we're over that 600,000 threshold now. And once again, it's getting really good with these double finishes for the Moto3 team inside of the objective. 112,506 credits. We get 80,000 from the Moto3 race alone, which is absolutely incredible to me, which brings us up to 1,640,869 credits. So then once again, gaining a very nice amount of prestige. We're gaining a lot of research data as well. 145 prestige from the 8th place, 125 from the 10th place, and then obviously Hernandez again with a stellar qualifying in 12th place gives us another 39, which gives us a total of 309, and obviously the 375 research data, that will go nicely. So no notifications for me, and no notifications for the Moto3 team. I guess that's to be expected since it's just a test, so there's literally been about a day has passed rather than usually it'd be like a week or so, wouldn't it? But it's literally just a day as part. Well, it might be 2 days, and they might test on the Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure on that. In the next episode, then, it looks like we'll be able to do some more on the team development and the bike development of our Moto3 team, and the engine will be finally done. So hopefully there'll be a slight performance boost in the next race for our team. It'll be nice to see. But I've got not really much to say. A little bit of an interesting race, quite an interesting race in Moto3, definitely at the end with all the crashes going on. Obviously Antonelli and Masia going out. I can't believe I missed both those crashes. I saw Masia on the ground, but I didn't even realise Antonelli was gone until we'd gone over the line. It'd be nice if like it came up at the side telling you who crashed and things like that. Obviously it doesn't, which is a little bit annoying, but it's just one of those things, you know. It'd be nice to see that in a future update, maybe a milestone. It'd be nice if you could add that. But yeah, sort of an interesting race then in MotoGP. Once again, as usual, not getting off to a great start and losing the lead, but being able to fight my way back through quite easily. Considering it's a track that AI is supposed to be quite good at, I was quite shocked about how easy it was for me to claw back the time. But they're really good there in qualifying. The race, they're not so good. It's a little bit annoying that with the AI, because they're so inconsistent. It's realistic, I understand the point. They add it so they basically have a base lap time to hit, and they get basically just a random multiplier of how close they are to that, and obviously it does decrease over the race distance, but in the game you can do the same lap time over and over and over and over again until the tyres really start to go off. But AI can't actually do that. They can't do the qualifying laps over and over again because their race lap times are actually set lower, which makes sense, but to be honest, you can basically do qualifying laps in the race. The fuel doesn't make a massive difference. I remember obviously it got hyped up and people weren't sure, but really the fuel makes little difference. You have a heavy bike, a light bike, it makes little to no difference. Power mode 2, power mode 0, there's not a massive amount of difference between those either. I've done my fast laps of the race sometimes in power mode 0 because the power just doesn't really matter that much because you can get on the power so early. So I'm sure there'll be people telling me, oh yes, in league racing or whatever it makes a big difference. I've not really done any league racing yet, and I agree it probably does make a big difference against players, but in terms of my lap times, I never find that the power mode makes much difference, along with obviously the actual fuel load. The tyre wear is the biggest factor for me, that obviously changes things in the race. But we were actually quite consistent throughout that race, 38s most of the time, so that was nice to see. But that's why I learned off this video then, guys, so I hope you have enjoyed that one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.